They know they can win games with him as long as he's healthy, and obviously that's a big if. But I think that's the way for the San Francisco 49ers to start this season.
Bart Scott, I'm coming to you. Who should be the starting quarterback for the New York Jets in 2021?
Really, Greeny, you know this is Sam Darnold. Listen, Sam Darnold, it takes a whole lot to wash that stench of Adam Gase off. Listen, I am an expert in horrible quarterbacks. I know one when I see one, and Sam Darnold is not a horrible quarterback. He's a franchise quarterback. I've been around enough bums to know who's a good quarterback. He just needs some protection and opportunity to learn and grow underneath a great offensive-minded coach.
I love it. Jeff Saturday, how about New England? Who should be their starting quarterback?
It's going to be Cam Newton. And you know why? Because Justin Fields ain't falling to him, Greeny. All this talk, everybody's giving all these smoke screens. It's going to be Cam Newton because the Patriots ain't trading up to get Justin Fields. I love the mock drafts. I love what everybody's saying. Fields is too good of a player to go that far down. Cam Newton's going to be there for another year. Josh McDaniels and he are going to try to get this thing on the same page.
Well, you're talking about the mock draft. Here it was. McShay has the Patriots moving up to 11 to take Justin Fields. Meanwhile, this week, Robert Kraft, the owner, had a lot to say about the Patriots' recent draft history and their quarterback situation. Take a listen.
You have to do it through the draft. I don't feel we've done the greatest job the last few years, and in fairness to Cam, I'm not sure he had the proper weapons around him. I don't know that Jared has ever really gotten a fair shot, so this isn't something where you get algebraic formulas. Think of all the personnel whizzes who passed for 6 rounds on Tom Brady. One way or another, we have to get that position solidified.
It wasn't that fascinating. Jeff Saturday, what is your reaction?
Listen, I like Robert Kraft, Greeny, but my man is high. I mean, listen, let's get real and honest. Since 2011, they've went to 5 Super Bowls, 3 conference championships that they lost. Are you kidding me? Do we care about winning the draft or do we care about winning games and Super Bowls? Because if you care about winning the draft and how everybody grades you and all these analysts who come out here and go, oh, man, give them an A+, B-, whatever that nonsense is. Bill Belichick cares about winning Super Bowls. And guess what? He has. If you look at last year, it's an anomaly. Half his defensive leaders opted out because of COVID, man. Like, you lost Tom Brady to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You came in with Cam Newton. He got COVID midway through the season. There was no rhythm. And now you're going to criticize it? Like, what are you kidding me right now? You're criticizing the greatest run in NFL history because of the draft. I can't stand how much attention the draft gets, right? There are no winners and losers in the draft, folks. There's winning on the field on Sundays and Super Bowls. Robert Kraft has had the best of that, and now he's complaining. Totally disagree with what Kraft is saying on this.
Okay, I'm all in. Bart Scott, what do you think?
Man.
Jeff Saturday, spoken like a man that played with arguably one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time and then went and played with Aaron. Listen, you have no idea how lonely and how hard it is to win without a franchise quarterback. Now, listen, you talk about taking Tom Brady in the 6th round. Well, they lucked up on that because they wouldn't have passed up on him 5 times if they thought they were so great as far as experts. He has done a horrible job, and now it's going to be lonely. Life after Jim Kelly. Life after Dan Marino. Listen, this goes out to that 12-year-old kid that I was trash talking when the Patriots won the Super Bowl against the Falcons. Ha. Enjoy it now because when number 12 leaves, you're going to come back with the mere mortals, and now you're going to have to build a team, not just have a guy that can be arguably the greatest quarterback to ever lace them up to bail you out of your bad mistakes. And Bill Belichick has made a number of bad mistakes. We always talk about all the draft picks, how crafty he is moving back. He hasn't drafted a great superstar in a long time. Sony Michel was great. And you think about Isaiah Wynn, name me somebody else that he's drafted that has turned out to be great. He's had all this draft equity. He has failed miserably. And when I came on this show a couple of months ago and I said that Bill Belichick, the general manager, should be fired, they need a better talent evaluator because now they're going to have a full team. They're not going to have number 12 to bail them out because he's going to take less money. They got to learn how to build, and they'll go out and get a quarterback, but who knows if he's going to be a bum or not. Like I said, I played with the Cleo Lemons. I played with the Kyle Bowlers, the Troy Smiths. Welcome to that side, New England. That's where you're at right now.
Wow. Okay. So I can't believe I'm saying this, but both can be right. You can both be right. Bill Belichick can be the greatest coach of all time and also have done a very bad job of putting together talent for his roster over the last 6 or 7 years and been helped out a lot by having the great quarterback. So maybe they're both right. Dan Graziano, what do you make of all this?
Well, I kind of think they're both a little bit wrong because I think they're kind of on the extreme ends of this, right? Because, Jeff Saturday, you can say that they had the great run and they've had the great run and all this, and you can also say that the roster the last couple of years has not been what it should be, what it's been expected to be, because they didn't do as well in the draft as they may have done earlier in Belichick's tenure. And in terms of Bart Scott, look, they just went 7-9. They didn't go 1-15. Everybody, all those opt-outs are coming back. If they find a quarterback who can play, if that ends up being Cam Newton, I don't see any reason to think it's going to be an embarrassingly bad team. The fact of the matter is they went out and signed a ton of free agents because they knew they had a bunch of holes on the roster. Right. That's indisputable. No matter how many Super Bowls that they've won, the last couple of years, it hasn't worked out in terms of the draft and building the roster. But I don't think the situation is as dire as would lead someone to trash talk a 12-year-old kid about the state of the New England Patriots.
Bart Scott will trash talk anybody, but that's neither here nor there.
Life's
I
hard.
want to ask Jeff a question. Pardon me. Because we use the term hot seat in one way. We basically say, is there pressure on a coach? We usually only interpret that to mean, is he in danger of getting fired? Well, throw that. Bill Belichick isn't getting fired no matter what happens. But is there, Jeff, pressure on Bill Belichick based on the fact that Brady went down there to Tampa and won the Super Bowl, and people are now looking at it and wondering, as Bart is, well, maybe this really was disproportionately Brady's greatness all along. Does it create an additional level of pressure on Belichick to succeed without him? Jeff, is that fair or not fair?
No, it's unfair. Listen, if you look at Bill Belichick and what he did for that entire football team, I love Tom Brady. I played against defenses that Belichick built that have Hall of Famers all around it, and they're starting to get in there. He understands how to run an entire football team. It's not just one guy. I understand how important it is to have a guy like Tom Brady, but at the end of the day, Bill Belichick's only pressure is internal. It's what he wants to do. Guaranteed, this guy's sitting back. He wants to get back to where he was. He understands Tom Brady left. He understands the conversation's happening. He understands where he sits. But as far as getting fired or getting questioned about what Tom Brady was in the program or in the organization and wasn't, Bill Belichick is completely comfortable in what he's done. You don't have that type of consistency just because of one player. It helps. It is not the end-all, be-all.
Yes, you do.
Because I played with two that don't have nearly as many Super Bowl rings, so you can't just attribute it to one guy.
Go ahead, Bart.
Yes, you can. Look how many holes that Peyton Manning filled for you guys. You guys were not a great roster. You guys had some good players, but you guys weren't loaded with a bunch of talent. You guys had a guy who can overcome the X's and O's, a guy that was the smartest man that I've ever played against, and he can always get his team in the best possible position. And that's what Tom Brady was. Tom Brady was a guy that not only took less money, you see what he's doing down in Tampa. He's building a culture, right? He's building a culture, much like Amendola said, right? He is the Patriot way because he's humble, because he takes less money, because he shares the pie. When you have a guy like that, he sets the table for you, and he gets you out of bad mistakes. And right now, you look at what Bill is trying to do. He's trying to buy himself out of the bad mistakes that he's made. But the problem is he don't have the guy behind center that's going to affect the game every single time the ball is snapped. And now he has to figure out a way how to get a bunch of stars to try and dig him out of the problems because he don't have a guy that can call that has the answers to the test.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Bart, here's my argument with that. I completely understand what Tom Brady is, but to get 6 rings, you think about Peyton Manning and Aaron Rodgers, right? What they have 3 combined. These guys, listen, these guys are as smart as Tom Brady. They've done the same thing as Tom Brady. It's because of the culture and the team as well. You can't tell me Peyton Manning didn't build a culture in Indy and in Denver. That doesn't just make Super Bowls happen. It's in combination, man. Do not discredit what Bill Belichick did. And let me tell you something, man. Defenses help win championships. You know what that looks like. Tom Brady's got nothing to do with their defense, man. I don't care what they say. Listen, Tom Brady's an excellent Hall of Famer, all the things people say about him. But don't discredit Bill Belichick, and dang sure don't discredit him about the draft when he keeps putting freaking rings on people's hands, man. Like, at the end of the day, it takes everybody involved in the organization. Don't just take it and throw that out. That's just disrespectful to one of the greatest who's ever done it.
All right,